It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
All right. You know what time it is? It's time for the Shoe Shine. Monday nights, it's your boy Dave from the 408 coming to you all the way from my podcast studio in San Jose, Califas. Joining me, as always, is my co-host all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish Drew Evo. Que pasa, homie?
What's up, Dave?
Yeah, I apologize that we have not been on the air as of last week. There was a little bit of a rough spot in the sport of boxing, and I think we both needed to take a little bit of time off. And the week before was kind of slow, but man, did we have such an exhilarating week. We had a triple header. Everybody in the sport of boxing was performing. We had DAZN, we had ESPN doing some free fights, and of course we had we even had Showtime Sports with Rigondeaux. Which may have been the worst fight I've ever seen of 2021. And you're free to call in. Let me say hello to Sonteo Media. Whoa, yo, what's up? Nopal Buxianos is in the house. Chicano Prophet is here. Thank you guys for hopping in. Really appreciate you guys coming by. Of course, it was a busy week. And I heard, Drew, you was getting busy because you went on a vacation, a long-deserved vacation. The people in the chat might want to know what you were up to. What were you up to?
Went to the Go-Go Ball a couple of nights of that last 2 nights of that vacation. And I don't know, went on the ball, had fun.
Is it the Jersey Shore you were at?
Yeah, did a little.
You did a little fist pumping? Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you got to catch the fights if you did on replay or whatnot. I hope you didn't waste your time. Yeah. Dave was hooking up with.
No, you're gonna get Dave in trouble. Stop that.
Oh man, no, I was definitely. Well, I got my own Italian. My wife is Italian, so I was doing my own thing. Yes, we might role play that sometimes that we met on the Jersey Shore. That might be a common fantasy in my household, or it may not. But that's for me to know. Man, a triple header of boxing, Drew, and not all of them were great. Like I just said, one of them, to be honest, was fantastic. And I'm talking about the Vergil Ortiz welterweight showdown with the Mean Machine, who just he basically got released from Top Rank and was looking to fight somebody. He fought Bud Crawford. Many people say the Mean Machine actually made Bud Crawford taste the canvas. Now, it didn't count, but he looked hurt in that fight. And what he represented this past Saturday was, to be honest, Virgil Ortiz's biggest test yet. And he's already passed some tests. He beat a former world champion at 140 in Hooker in his last appearance. This time, he literally went up against a guy who has tremendous knockout power. He was once trained by the same trainer. And at the time, Robert Garcia had said that the Mean Machine was the hardest hitting athlete in his roster. Now, he doesn't work out with him, but he had said that. Now, I think he met Roger's current hardest hitting athlete. So I want to start off with that one, Drew, because it was the best fight of the night. And it definitely delivered in terms of that anxious feeling fans get when you know something special is about to go down. Now, I had researched it in Las Vegas, said Las Vegas and the most of the bookmakers didn't think this fight was going to go past 7 rounds. And the reason for that being is that Virgil Ortiz never been past 7. He's put everybody out. And it went 8. But if you notice, man, the Mean Machine visibly shook and hurt Virgil Ortiz in round 2 on a combination. This actually could have been the only opportunity he had to have ended this fight. But Virgil Ortiz rebounded. And I'm going to say he rebounded better than anybody's rebounded on DAZN this year, including the guy we don't like to talk much about, Ryan Garcia, man. But I want to know, man, what do you think of Virgil Ortiz at 147 pounds? I know you being from Philly, that there's another guy out there, Boots Ennis, who's a phenom, a possible future world champion. But Virgil Ortiz, right now, What are your thoughts on his performance, man? What are your thoughts of where he stands in the welterweight division?
Well, he passed the test. He was hurt, and then he came back from, being hurt and everything. So that's a big, that's a big test in his young career. But, he beat a guy that's like really has knockout power and everything, and can really gave a lot of guys trouble. And Mean Machine gave Terence Crawford a little bit of trouble. In my opinion, he knocked him down, had him hurt a little bit. So it's a big test. But not now. His defensive issue, he still has defensive issues. So he didn't improve them. He didn't really. It was an action-packed fight.
Yeah,
it was a great fight, but he didn't really improve with those defensive issues that he has. And tell you the truth, that's going to be a liability when he faces a guy that really can take punches, that can really outbox him and hit him and counter him. So,
but who in the welterweight division? By the way, guys, we are live. I appreciate you being in the chat. If you want to call in before my phone line drops, you can call in at 702-710-3627. Drew, you were talking about his a little bit of defensive issues that Virgil may have, but I think that defensively, he's a lot better than who Oscar De La Hoya has left with Jaime Munguia on his stable. Jaime is managed.
He's a better fighter.
Yeah.
He's a better fighter than Jaime Munguia. He's a lot faster. Jaime Munguia is really slow. He's a slug, if you ask me. I really don't. He hasn't fought anybody. So, and he's a mandatory for Andre. He's been a mandatory for a year and a half for Andre. Even Andre's coach said, "Yo, you've been a year and a half for mandatory. Why the hell am I fighting you?" He even called him out on Twitter about it, and then he decided to take a fight with Rosado. I think it's going to be an easy fight. It's not going to be an easy fight.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize for throwing you off a tangent talking about Jaime Munguia, man, because I'm interested in what you think Virgil Ortiz, how bad his defensive flaws are, because I don't really know if there's that many harder hitting punchers in the welterweight division that I'd be afraid of to put him in there with right now.
I don't even think you gotta be worried about a puncher. I don't think it's gotta be a big puncher. I think it's gotta be maybe a terrific boxer that can dodge his punches, that can take some hits, and outbox him to a decision. And that's probably gonna be what Terence Crawford does. Or Spence can probably hurt him. Terence Crawford can probably hurt him if he gets hit him enough times and everything. But I think if you put him in there with Terence Crawford or Spence, they beat him. I think Boots Ennis beats him. I think that's gonna be a brawl fight, but Boots is has the best, is the better boxer in my opinion, and that eventually is gonna be the edge in that fight between them two. That he's the better boxer. So, his defensive flaws against a better boxer that can take punches, that can time him and counter him. That's his weakness, and as soon as you get to somebody like that, you might really see Jaime Munguia Virgil Ortiz going into deep waters, and you guys see what is he gonna tire out, or is he gonna try to reserve himself?
Yeah.
Because
you brought up some great names. Of course, Terence Crawford is in the lead of who they want. That is the biggest fight he can make. You mentioned the other guys being PBC fighters, and Boots Ennis is kind of a free agent. Let's take this phone call and have them chime in here for a quick set. We got a caller. 503, you're on the Shoe Shine. What's up? Who's this?
What's happening, fellas? This is Chicano.
Chicano, man, thanks for giving us a call, brother. What did you make of Virgil Ortiz's performance?
Well, I was very impressed, and I felt compelled to call in because, I'm trying to enjoy this Virgil Ortiz performance because it was sensational. And Drew's over here killing my buzz like he always does with Latino fighters. And so, Dave, I'm
not
just
always
say,
true.
No,
I gotta defend him.
We're not gonna get on that thing, okay? You're gonna feeding into that narrative as we have some other people that are probably not here yet. Don't get on that narrative, Chicano. Calm down.
Hey, man.
You know I support the Chicanos.
Hey, dude, all right, okay. I was kind of half joking, but you did go off on Munguia for no reason, but we'll leave that one aside. I want to talk about Virgil Ortiz, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah. He did go off a little bit. I'm
Excellent.
surprised about Chicano. Surprised that he thinks that the defensive issues are going to be a big deal because I think they're very small, and I'm not concerned about him facing anyone that's. I think his chin is right up there, right? But he does mention, is there someone out there who's going to outbox him? And Terrence Crawford is arguably one of the best welterweight boxers, total packages, man. So, but let me give me your take on his performance. If you got to grade the performance.
Well, I got to say I agree with both of you. I do think that he is a bit limited defensively, although I think that he started to establish a rhythm towards the end of that fight. I thought like once he was warmed up, I don't know if it was old school tactics that he went to. Like I've never been a fan of Robert Garcia, and I think everyone agrees, even if you think he's an okay trainer, like he's never been a defensive trainer. So I do think he'll have some holes there, but I agree with you, Dave, man. I think you make some great points. Like he is absolutely a very good fighter who has a great chin, and I already think that he's not going to be tested much further than that. I think he's already ready to go. I think he's got a good sense of viciousness for like I don't know if it's because he doesn't know he can lose and he's like 22, 23, but man, it sucks that Victor Ortiz has that vicious moniker because I mean, we could call this dude vicious Virgil Ortiz. Like he's got a beautiful body punching, great lead left hand with punches, with jabs, hooks. Also, he had some good inside fighting towards the end of that fight. So I think he's ready to go, man. I look at him and I'm excited. It's nice to have somebody kind of bring some excitement to the welterweight division. I do think that based on like the eye test, Ennis looks a little better, but he hasn't really gone up against anybody. And also looks like he's moving up to 54. So I don't know if we're going to see that, but as of right now, I think Virgil Ortiz brings excitement to the welterweight division. And so, I say, yeah, put him in there against Crawford. Will Crawford be able to outbox Virgil Ortiz? Probably, but I don't buy this whole like, oh, he's not ready. Like, well, if these older welterweights are going to face each other, let's see it happen, and who knows, you got to catch Virgil Ortiz now because, I mean, Crawford's only going to get older. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's absolutely getting older. And you mentioned the age of Virgil Ortiz. He's straight up peaking on testosterone right now. I mean, his testosterone levels are through the roof. And you mentioned something that I'm really high on is that he does have that killer instinct that is so necessary in the sport of boxing. And fans appreciate it. Like you can watch the Rigondeaux fight, and we'll argue about that later. We'll bring that fight up. But you can argue that the fans have an instantaneous response that's in the gut. It's like primal when they see Virgil Ortiz fight. The excitement, the screams for him because they know that he's going to finish the opponent. It's that thing we all look for in star boxers, that finishing instinct. You know what I mean? And he has it. Like he's a different guy outside of the ring than he is inside the ring. You don't want to meet the Virgil Ortiz in the ring. And the other thing you brought up, Drew, I want to know, Virgil Ortiz has a fantastic jab, but it's just not like that regular jab. He does everything with it. It's like a power jab that can just bust through a guy's guard. Do you agree that he's got probably one of the best jabs at welterweight right now?
He's got one of the best jabs at welterweight because it does damage. It's not a jab that measures his opponent and everything. He jabs. It's still like a hard punch. It's like a prime triple G jab if you look at it, if you want to compare to it. But
I like that. I like that compare. Now, Chicano, I know you're not the biggest Triple G fan, but I mean, is that a good analogy? At a prime Triple G power jab?
Well, I didn't really think about it, but to me, when I look at Triple G and his jab, it's nice and thudding.
Yes.
I feel like Virgil Ortiz has a nice straight down the pipe type jab. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, they're both effective. I would say Triple G's a little more like piston like, but I feel like Virgil Ortiz kind of uses his like a strong whip kind of, but I mean, they're both very similar. They both have excellent stiff jabs. It's just like the delivery is a little bit different. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I just wanted to call and give you guys my 2 cents.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate you guys' show
I appreciate
as always.
it.
And,
I appreciate you calling. And we'll check out Al Chile tomorrow night, right? Al Chile on YouTube.
Yes, sir. We'll be on.
All right, man.
Paul and A-Rod. Come on by, you guys.
I'll be looking forward to
Dave,
it.
you need to jump on, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be around tomorrow night. Love to be on there.
Sweet.
Thank you, Chicano.
Nice, man. And then, we always like when Drew comes on,
We'll make sure Drew makes an appearance if he's not too tired. Yeah, for sure. Chicano Prophet, thank you so much. Al Chile in the house. Thank you.
All right. Take it easy. Bye.
All right. Sonteo Media says he tucks his elbows well so the opponent doesn't see it coming, and it's so fast. Yeah, that's what I really enjoy about that jab that we were just talking about. He can change speed and velocity on it, and I really like that, man. I really like that he uses it as like this total weapon. I mean, he can break you down and get in position to what he needs to do and throw those combinations. Arguably, Drew, that was the best fight of the weekend, man. And I'm going to give him something that's brand new, a new feature I'm going to be implementing on this show when the occasion arises, and that's the Chicano U-turn. That's right. The Chicano U-turn goes to Vergil Ortiz because, bro, he straight almost got knocked out, but he came back, took command of that. It was a 360-degree rotation. He took complete command of that fight, and that's why I award him the Chicano U-turn of the week. Now, there was some other Chicano fighting because Robert Garcia wasn't even at that fight, man. He was actually on the ESPN. I don't know if you got to check that out, but there was a trilogy fight between Maloney and Franco at 150 pounds, 15 pounds for the WBA belt. Man, while we were gone, what do you want to say about the WBA, man?
We are protesting a lot about the WBA, and I'm not doing a freaking hunger strike.
You know, even ESPN, if you listen to the commentary, they kind of were referencing, you know, everything that had been going on in the couple past weeks with the WBA. They mentioned that the judge was suspended for the racist tweets and whatnot. They brought that up. But they didn't put too much on that WBA belt. You know what I mean? Really, it was a trilogy. The second one, it didn't go the distance. It ended, and in my opinion, Maloney got shafted on that second one. He really should have got the decision for that.
He should have got the knockout because it was hit because it was caused by a punch, not a headbutt.
I was upset for a while.
Like the replays from different angles showed it was caused by a punch. So, and they still caused. So it was like you can blame the athletic commission on that one, but like at the same time, like, oh, we're gonna get rid of interim titles. I'm not asking you to get rid of interim title. I'm asking you to get rid of all these other paper titles, like these super champion or like these regular champion. Like really, you should have one champion, one regular super champion in that division, and you should have the interim titleist. That's all you should have. You have like 5 different belts in this freaking weight division. I thought the WBC was corrupted, but this is really corruption right here.
Yeah, and the big fight, of course, the pay-per-view special this week. It's like the last time we were on the air, you actually mentioned that Ugas. I mean, before this whole Spence thing went down with the having to drop out of the fight over this not torn retina but separated retina. I'm not sure if I'm getting it right, man, but you brought up the fact that Ugas should have got this fight because Ugas was, but without, it's even more controversy, right? Because that WBA belt, Ugas was just basically awarded it for the inactivity of Manny Pacquiao.
Like I would look at it like this: if you're going to mention the WBA title in this fight with Pacquiao and Spence, you should have just had Pacquiao fight Ugas first for the real belt, because he was a champion in recess, and just get it over with. So now you got this fight that's going to happen. Pacquiao is claiming this could be his last fight. So we might not see Spence versus Pacquiao still at all. But like, to award a guy a title belt for not fighting is a bunch of BS. To elevate him to the named champion, no. You're supposed to have the 2 top contenders, the mandatory, which is the interim title holder, and the number 2 fight for this belt. That's how it should be. But to just award a guy a championship without a fight, it's ridiculous because, and even I'm surprised a guy would want to accept a belt for not fighting for it.
Let's go back to this Franco rematch, the trilogy fight, because trilogy fights are my favorite thing. I actually missed the entire fight right up until the 10th round because I got stuck in my head that Rigondeaux, the Cuban masterful boxer, never really had a problem with Rigondeaux until this weekend. The Rigondeaux that made Nonito Donaire look like a fool in New York City, that's not the guy I saw fight last Saturday. I was waiting to see that Rigondeaux, the kind of Rigondeaux that puts on Floyd Mayweather-like performances. When people say on Twitter, and there was so much back and forth going on, I got upset, Drew. Do we live in a world with multiple realities? I don't know if you've ever heard of the multiverse theory, that there's different realities going on all at the same time around us, because I must be living in my own reality, because the reality I was watching was a guy, and I think a lot of the fans sitting at this it's now called something else, the StubHub Center in LA is a famous place to watch action-packed fights. This being the headlining event that PBC picked, what a joke, man. I never heard so many righteous boos.
It's crazy because I was watching this at a club and I had one of the dancers next to me sitting with me watch the fight with me.
Yeah.
On the TV while we were both having drinks together. And she was like this. This is the boringest shit I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, this was coming from a woman that doesn't watch boxing religiously. She's just a casual observer, and she's probably thinking, this is what you watch every weekend, what you go crazy about. This is your podcast subject?
Like, she was asking me questions about it, and I was like, because she likes boxing, she said.
Okay, yeah.
She was telling me that, you know, why would they put this on there? And I brought up, you know, didn't HBO, you know, HBO didn't, you know, wasn't taking a lot of his fights because how boring, how much of a bad style he had. Everything. They didn't like it.
This is great. Chicano Prophet says, oh, the multiverse is definitely a thing. And in this universe, my universe, Drew was hating on Ortiz. No. Okay.
Which one, Victor? Yes.
Victor Ortiz?
He's a quitter.
Okay, now he
makes you Chicanos look bad.
Victor Ortiz, who is fighting this Saturday, a shout out to Robert the Ghost Guerrero from Gilroy, who will be hopefully making his retirement performance and hopefully putting away Victor Ortiz in the ring. Please. But going back to the thing on different realities, man, boxing Twitter just went nuts on Saturday. And people that I like, people that I enjoy, people that I follow, people that I talk to on the phone from time to time, man, they are arguing that if you was booing at Rigondeaux, those people are the casuals. So I'm stuck here. Like, I've been following the sport of boxing since the 90s, engaged in amateur boxing in my early 20s. I'm a casual. I mean, because I don't like what Rigondeaux's bringing to the table. I mean, should I be hurt or do we just live in different realities, man? Because to me, yes, the sweet science has an element of hit and don't be hit. But where was the hits? Let me tell you, Rigondeaux landed 44 of 221 punches. 44 punches to Casimero's 47 of 297. The combined punches of the Franco fight with Maloney was well over 1,000. You should, like, I can't make this up. 44 punches landed over 12 rounds, 47 for Casimero. Yeah, and I wasted 10. I watched 10. I missed 10 rounds of the other fight that was damn good. Chicano Prophet says, I stopped watching that after 2 rounds. Why didn't somebody text me? Why didn't somebody DM me and say, Dave, stop watching that, man? Franco and Maloney are on.
Decision.
A split decision. And by the way, someone had put there, you should be ashamed of yourself, Drew. Rigo boxed a No, he boxed a masterpiece. I'm the one that's upset, not Drew. I'm upset. He dodged a masterpiece. I mean, I don't know.
He does, but he didn't engage.
He didn't engage. That's for sure, man. It was. If you were looking for a salsa dance partner, Rigondeaux would be the guy. And listen, Even
That's the
Canelo.
thing, man.
Even Canelo rags on fighters that don't engage. Canelo always rags on fighters like this, right?
What's the best defense? A counter punch. You dodging a punch and countering him and landing the punch. Rigo didn't do a lot of that. He didn't engage. So why the hell should we say he boxed a masterpiece? He dodged, but he didn't engage. He did not counter to make Casimero pay. That's why he did not win that fight.
Yeah, and arguably the only time anybody was remotely hurt was in that round where he got the rabbit punch. That was like the most exciting punch part of the fight. You know, was an illegal punch from Casimero, who was desperately trying to land anything on him. By the way, a shout out to official LDBC rep who says, "I'm here for my formal apology from Drew Evo." So we'll be waiting, I suppose, for that one, right?
You know, I met the girl I met.
Yeah.
I asked her if she was an LDBC supporter.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't even know what that is. I was like this, hey, don't even worry about it.
Oh.
But don't worry, man. I took care of her sister.
So if I'm getting this right, Drew has a new love interest. Something.
Nah, it's not a new love interest.
Okay, well, whatever it was, strictly physical. So he ain't tripping off of this woman that was in our chat a few weeks back, right? You're not tripping off of that no more, right?
Oh, she was way better looking.
Oh my God, what goes down in the Jersey Shore? All right, what's going down for real? So Rigondeaux, yeah, I wasted my time with Rigondeaux Casimero. And listen, remember, my guy Nonito Donaire from the Bay Area, the Filipino, the Flash, he was supposed to fight Casimero. This was supposed to be a Filipino showdown, two champions unifying. This would have arguably been a much better fight to have watched. Not Rigondeaux, but now it puts Rigondeaux in a position he didn't win. So for a split second, I was rooting for Rigondeaux, going, you know what? I would love to see Nonito Donaire finally get his chance again in a rematch with Rigondeaux, but that's not going to happen. Now they both still maintain their belts, so we'll see if this fight between Casimero. There was a lot of beef on social media because they believe Casimero disrespected and his team disrespected his wife. Nonito Donaire is managed by his wife, but I don't.
You know, he brought up the Vita issue.
Listen, this isn't going to play the audio, but I don't know if you guys caught this, but Casimero at the very end of that Showtime in the interview, he threw shade at Nonito Donaire, and he did his best impression from Stand and Deliver. The audio won't play, but you guys, anyone who's old enough to remember Stand and Deliver, when he asked him, you know your multiplications? The finger man, I know my ones, my twos, and my threes. And he gave Nonito Donaire the middle finger there on Showtime, doing his best impression of Stand and Deliver, the Filipino version. But anyways, those were the three fights. Now, Drew, we're left with this big showdown again this weekend. Will you be buying the pay-per-view special, Pacquiao versus Ugas? Is it a better fight? Is this a better fight than what we were going to originally get?
No, it's not a better fight, because the better fight was Errol Spence versus Pacquiao. This is a good fight, but it's not, to me, it's not a better fight. Like,
could this be more competitive?
No, it's probably going to be, you know what? It could be competitive. It's going to be competitive, but like, tell you the truth, you don't know what Pacquiao going to get. I think Pacquiao's going to beat Ugas. But I just really think I was looking forward to this fight with Pacquiao versus Spence, because I wanted to see how Spence was going to be able to tame the speed of Pacquiao.
All right. Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? Thousands of people had booked their trip to Las Vegas, to the T-Mobile Arena, to see exactly that, to support Errol Spence. I know our friend in the ring with Christine, who just came back from being on the Team USA Boxing, she booked her tickets to see this fight, or had made connections to see the fight. The day the fight was announced, I was with her in Las Vegas. She was excited to see Errol Spence. So there was a lot of people who honestly, genuinely wanted a refund. And that's a big mess when you got to cancel your vacation plans, trying to get a refund, and then the promoter tells you no, or the ticket agency says no refunds. You can sell them on private party. Man, it's a mess. But your boy from Philadelphia, man, B-Hop, like 3 days ago, made some big news. I don't know if you heard this. Bernard Hopkins is suspicious of Errol Spence eye injury, says showed proof. And that was on Little Giant Boxing on YouTube. You can hear the audio clip of that. I'm not going to get plagiarized, but fantastic interview. Listen, B-Hop basically is saying that there's been a lot of shady shit going on from fighters, a lot of suspicious things as of late in the sport of boxing in 2021. He's not accusing him of lying, but he'd like to see some proof. He'd like to start seeing proof from boxers who claim they're hurt. Your thoughts on that, man?
You know what? I kind of agree with Hopkins a little bit, because this happened, all of a sudden, like, I don't expect Errol Spence to want to drop out of this fight, man, but like, let's see, like, let's get some details about what the hell happened. How the hell did they find his injury out of nowhere? How long did he have it for? Where could he had it from? Like seriously, could he had it from Spawn? Could he had it from the Danny Garcia fight? Like, how long had there's a lot of questions when it comes to that.
And you bring up a good point about that, because Drew, it turns out that eye injury, a test is administered. It's required by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, but other states don't ask for it. They don't ask for it. So therefore, if this fight had been held like in a state like Texas or Florida, he would have never even have known about it because he hadn't detected it himself. So it turns out, again, that because it's in Nevada, he was required to take this test, and he finds out, hey, this could save his eye. A lot of boxers have had these type of injuries. Once it's detached, man. Abner Mares, you could watch Abner Mares when he commentates on Showtime. He had the surgery, and his eyes one of them's kind of droopy now, man. But people ragged on B-Hop saying, you know what, man, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. You're saying, calling out Errol Spence. But did you see what just came out this afternoon, man? Charles Conwell represented USA Boxing in the Olympics, right? Go ahead, Drew.
You know what? You guys ain't gonna diss, to me, the greatest boxer that ever lived in my eyes, Bernard Hopkins. You guys ain't gonna diss him. Like, you ain't gonna diss the resume. He has better resumes than half the freaking fighters you love. He's beaten all the young champions you probably loved. So don't you dare diss Bernard Hopkins.
Oh, you're talking. The chat is upset. Don't let the chat upset you.
Kiss my ass on that one.
Oh man, he's defending his Philly turf.
And that's the fucked up thing.
Yeah.
Some of these people, like some people are turncoats. Oh, he's sold out. Well, let me tell you something. If he was on, and then you say, oh, Rook already claimed Ugas if he wins. The fuck? You only claim Ugas if he wins? You should want him to win because what he's representing right now, what's going on in Cuba right now, what they're fighting for their independence. You should love his fight and his treats on Trello. But no, you gotta go in. We only claim Ugas if he wins. guys, come on, man.
Listen, there's something to B-Hop. B-Hop has been in the business as a boxer, one of the longest careers that I can think of. And he was on to something, man. This article, I can't even, it was like, first it was on ESPN, and now I can't find the article, right? But I had tweeted it out. Mike Hoppinger's the first one to break the story. And now it's like, is it on ESPN or is it not? Okay? But here's the deal. Charles Conwell, an Olympic athlete, okay? Charles Conwell was going to fight on Ring City, USA. He's done fantastic. He's been putting a string of performances that are fantastic. And it turns out his manager, David McWater, who is the manager, he's the manager of Teofimo Lopez. According to what Charles Conwell is alleging, he's saying his own manager told him, tell them you have a fake hand injury. They never question a hand injury. So he pulls out of the Ring City, USA card. For what, according to what Charles Conwell is saying, his manager told him, I'll get you a fight under the Teofimo Trilla show. Just back out of that Ring City fight. Fake an injury. So we don't know what's going to happen to Charles Conwell for speaking up the truth here against one of the biggest managers in the sport of boxing. I'm sure this is going to get nasty real soon, but he's basically saying, look, I'm not in control of these decisions, man, but this is the advice I've been given, is to fake an injury for a higher payday somewhere else. This is the manager of Teofimo Lopez. So now I'm shaking my head again. When I want to give fighters the benefit of the doubt, I find out today that a fighter under Teofimo Lopez, his own manager, is being asked to fake injuries. Well, how convenient. How convenient before a big fight that wasn't selling very well. I mean, what's really going on in boxing? We know about the corruption with the WBA. We saw that on Fox, on free TV 2 weeks ago, when this kid, Michael Fox, was robbed of a great performance, robbed of an earned victory. But man, managers telling you to fake injuries to seek a higher purse. And it turns out this fighter, Charles Conwell, is pissed, man. Apparently, Charles Conwell didn't get paid for the Ring City fight because he faked an injury. He lost out on some measly $40K or something, and then he was going to get paid $200K on the Trilla fight. But the Trilla fight, that one is held up in, who knows, arbitration? There's no day for Teofimo Lopez fighting again. I will tell you this, my boy Andy Vences from San Jose, he's fighting under the De La Hoya fight now for Trilla. It was just announced. He's going to be fighting at the Staples Center. We've had Andy Vences on the show before. So thank God he's getting paid. But, he has a different manager that's putting that together, man. I guess that fight's going to be, in lieu of Canelo Alvarez, we can watch Oscar De La Hoya make his return and fight a former MMA fighter, right? That's what we get for Mexican Independence Day.
It's like you got Oscar fighting an MMA fighter, and it's supposed to be a real fight. You got freaking David Haye coming out of retirement to fight some billionaire dude that knocked out a music musician, like a musician,
That's
on
wow.
a Jake Paul undercard. Like, and then who's the other? And then you got the Andy Vance fight and everything. So I'm like, seriously, David, hey, why the hell are you gonna risk yourself against this fucking billionaire dude? Like,
he might break a toe.
You know what, man? Like, I'll be honest with you, Trilla's trying too hard to impress casuals, and yet I don't even expect Trilla to even last long because they're trying to aim for casual boxing fans. But you really need the hardcore ones.
If you're talking casual fans, Jake left them already. I mean, Jake's going to be fighting. They're trying to spice up the card on August 29th on Showtime to get people to buy that fight. That's the main event. So. They got their hands full trying to make up all the lost revenue that they had banked on. Canelo not fighting on September 18th, which is traditionally Mexican Independence Day. It's a big day for pay-per-view sales. Always has been since going back to Oscar De La Hoya. Chicano Prophet. I got to read this one. Drew bashing Oscar now, too? All Drew needs to do now is take a couple of unsolicited shots at Teofimo, and he can sleep soundly. Oscar De La Hoya merits all those shots thrown at him, doesn't he?
Hey, you guys just not over when Bernard put him down with that liver shot and he fucked Tito Trinidad up.
Oh, there it is. Another shot at Oscar. That was a great perfectly placed body shot. But listen, Drew, are they testing for testosterone? Are they testing for TRT? I don't know if you're familiar with this stuff, man, but Vitor Belfort was notoriously known for being one of the most juiced up UFC fighters there is. And do they do drug testing for these things? I mean, these guys are both past 45. And there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, when you got podcasters like the great Joe Rogan admitting to you that he feels great because he's on every testosterone you can find, I don't doubt it for one moment that Oscar De La Hoya or someone approaching 50 years old and they want to look their best. They're in Hollywood. I don't doubt they're on a hormone replacement. How else could you? I mean, I was your boy the alien for a reason? I mean, was he clean?
In my book, yeah.
Okay.
Because the thing is, he never drank, he never smoked, he constantly was training. So seriously, like Oscar, he drinks. We all know he does.
He might do more than just that, man.
He does his drugs and everything. So what the hell helps you get back in shape faster? Performance enhancing drugs. But here's the thing, man. You know, Oscar, man, if he was really serious, why would he pick a UFC fighter? Ex-UFC, retired UFC fighter. Like, even though Anderson Silva's boxing T. Ortiz on the undercard.
Actually, I'm looking forward to that one, man. And you know, Anderson Silva is mid-40s and was able to make pretty easy work of Chavez Jr., man. If anybody has a natural ability, I think it's Anderson Silva. I don't think Vitor Belfort is going to stand a chance to actually beat Oscar in this exhibition or real fight, whatever it's sanctioned as. It's all
Anderson
entertainment.
Silva gave him a boxing lesson.
I can't believe it. Oh, man. Oh, I'm Hollywood Deep State. Thank you, official LDBC. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the Hollywood Deep State. Now, I will not be talking about vaccines on this show, though. I know a lot of people have very strong opinions on vaccines one way or another. For me, I just want people to be able to go to fights, shows like the one in Las Vegas, and not come out of it testing COVID positive. That's all I want, man. Whether you want to wear a mask, whatever you want to do, I don't want to hear about people getting sick. So that's enough of Dave Hollywood State today. Drew, we need to pick a winner, man, because I really like, to be honest, man, I've always enjoyed Ugas, and I think Ugas was robbed against Porter. I really think that is the toughest opponent he's ever fought. It's not Abel Ramos, who is the brother or uncle of Jesus Ramos Jr. over at PBC that I got to talk to. His best fight performance was against Porter, and I think he got robbed of that correct decision. But he finds himself as the champion, and he's not the same type of fighter as Rigondeaux. He's not a Rigondeaux. You know what I mean? We're going to get another Filipino-Cuban showdown this weekend, but I think this one is going to be a damn good one. Chicano Prophet says War Pacquiao. I was going back and forth, Drew, thinking Ugas is going to upset him, but I think now I'm convinced that this will be Manny Pacquiao's last stand, and he's going to wow and amaze us as a man on the verge of 43 years old. I think he pulls off the win, man. I think he pulls off the win in a split decision win. It's going to go all 12. He's not going to knock out Ugas, but it's going to be like 7-5 Manny Pacquiao if the judges get it right, because all the training videos I've seen, he looks like his old self, man. And even though he wasn't preparing for Ugas, there isn't anything Manny Pacquiao hasn't dealt with at the Wild Card Gym. There isn't anything he hasn't seen, any type or style of fighter that he's seen. Ugas is going to have to bring his A game, and it better be a perfect night for him. Now, does he stand a chance to win? Drew, who are you picking?
I thought Ugas also beat Porter. Ugas is a good Cuban fighter. I like the Cuban style of boxing. Really like it a lot. It's one of my favorite styles of boxing to watch.
Yeah.
I really think, Pacquiao is going to do enough to win this fight. I'm going to say 8-4 Pacquiao, an unanimous decision. I just think, Ugas, I don't think he's going to be able to deal with that hand speed. And when Pacquiao takes a round or two off, that's when he has to make the most of his opportunities. And, if he doesn't do it, this fight's he's not gonna stand a chance to win a decision against Pacquiao. And that's the round, like the round between 7 And 9, they're the rounds he's going to have to really pick the gas up, because they're the rounds that Pacquiao usually slows down in because of the hand speed and everything. He'll usually take like between those 3 rounds off a little bit to calm down a little bit, get himself ready for the championship rounds. But that's where Ugas has to attack. He has to win 2 early rounds, and he has to attack, and he has to win these 3 rounds at least to be in the fight. To be in this fight, to me, I don't think he's going to be able to, because Ugas might be on defensive mode by then.
Drew, you mentioned something about respect for the Cuban school of boxing. I just want to remind people, if you watch the Olympics, they still dominate at the Olympic level, amateur boxing. Look at the gold medalists. I mean, it was practically all Cuba. They still continue. I mean, if they want to defect, if the majority of those gold winners want to defect and get, however they do it, I mean, we'd have a whole crop of new guys like Andy Cruz that beat Keyshawn Davis. He's beat him every single time. I mean, we already know that Keyshawn Davis is going to be a fantastic professional fighter. He's already started his professional career. Imagine Andy Cruz. I mean, we've got some of the best Cuban fighters we have right now are because they've defected Cuba, all the way from heavyweights, from Frank Castillo all the way down to Rigondeaux, all Ugas this week. I mean, you name them. There's a whole handful of guys. They could easily be the next big thing in professional boxing. Different style. I mean, it's not for everybody, but they definitely know what they're doing there with the Olympic team on an amateur level. All right, Drew, I want to give our final thoughts here. I'll read another comment from Chicano Prophet. It says, good point, but how often do Cuban boxers make it to the top and stay there? Doesn't always translate at the professional level. But he's right about that. I mean, a lot of it is because timing and whatnot. Like they fight so much on so many amateur fights, and then like you'll have guys like Gamboa whose career was stalled by bad management, or he started too late as a pro. Almost like Lomachenko to me started way too late as a pro. He could have just done one gold medal in the Olympics and moved on to the pro ranks. He's someone who I think has made a perfect transition. Not all the Cuban fighters do. For whatever reasons, translate into fantastic professional fighters. Rigondeaux, to me, I mean, he's a shadow of himself. He can't pull the trigger on punches anymore. He still has incredible leg work. I mean, you couldn't hit him. He's untouchable at times, but boring as hell, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to pay, and I feel bad for anybody who went to the StubHub Center this weekend and saw that as a main event. I really do feel bad for you, man. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me and Drew Evo on the Shoe Shine. A quick hour to get us back in the groove of things. Drew, I got to give a shout out to Rolly Romero. We're speaking about Cubans. He was in the house at the StubHub Center. Rolly Romero got a big mouth and a funny voice. But even funnier than his voice, go look for that interview with Fight Hub TV. I don't want to piss off the guys at Fight Hub TV. They're doing great work, and I don't want to rip off content. Go listen to the post-fight interview. He's got a funny voice, true. He really does. He's a hell of a troll, though, man. These pictures, these memes he's putting up on social media, calling himself Devin Haney's daddy. Like, I really am enjoying that shtick, man. The Devin Haney daddy pics... they're hilarious. And now today he says, I don't fight email champs. I want Gervonta. So I can expect to see some funny memes and pictures of Gervonta. Rolly Romero is my troll of the week. And that's it. He's the best troll. I got some other news, man. AB, we love talking about AB when he makes bad decisions, man. But if you hang out with AB long enough or in his company, you start doing stupid shit too. And I'm talking about Robert Easter Jr., man. Robert Easter Jr. was arrested for knocking out a woman at a strip club. Yeah, he knocked out and busted up her face. And he had a bench warrant for his arrest for the assault charges. And he's bonded out, man. But listen, you don't need to be putting your hands on women. They can't compete with you, man. You're a professional boxer. So Robert Easter, you should know better at this point in your life, man. You're going to turn your career around. You were once the champion at 135 pounds. Don't do it, man. Bad look. Bad look, guys. All right, Drew, your final words for the weekend. Anything you're looking forward to?
These fucking people need Jesus.
They need Jesus. Oh, man. Now, listen, when you go to, I think you were sharing a story about you went to a gentleman's club or something this weekend. I mean, you're not looking to punch a woman in the face.
Yeah. You look, to me, like, when I went there to have a few drinks because, tell you the truth, where I was at, there wasn't a lot of bars open around where I was staying at, and that was the closest one. So, and it was owned by bikers too. So we went there, and I tell you the truth, I couldn't believe they had boxing on that night, the Regal fight on that night, and I actually had one watching it, the fight with me, which, hey, it's always cool to have a female to watch fight boxing with, and she turned down 3 lap dances just to sit with me to watch the fight.
I'll be damned. Shout out to that Jersey Shore Gentlemen's Club, whatever the name of it is. You want to give them a shout out? Go ahead.
Hurricane Bikini Club.
There you have it. If you want to sponsor the Shoe Shine, I'm open to all sponsorships. Shout out to them. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you tune into all our friends and associates. You could download this show at Leave It in the Ring Radio and check out our friends who are in the chat tomorrow night. Nopal Boxiano, Chicano Prophet, at Al Chile, and shout out to A-Rod83 Boxeo. I'm Dave from the 408, and we'll catch you next Monday on the Shoe Shine. Thanks everybody for being here and supporting us, man. Hit us up with a like or a comment or a retweet or a share. Me and Drew are trying to grow this channel as much as possible. No shame in saying that. We need the help, man. Thank you, everybody. Peace.
Yeah, come on. You guys want to look at me more, huh?
Peace out, guys.